Let's talk for 30. Where you at on your journey? Tell me what you learning. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Do you give back to your city or educate the ones that listen? Time to show them how to get it. Give the people what they missing. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Let's talk for 30. Dreamer.
Welcome to Talk for 30, a platform for individuals to share the life stories, passions, and journeys with us. Today I have Tyler here with me. Tyler, tell everybody who you are and just a little bit about yourself. We're going to get into it.
My name is Tyler Taylor. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Warrenton, Georgia. And 13 years ago, I lost my ability to walk to the point where my mom and family and friends had to assist me with daily activities and tasks because I was bedbound.
Can you share the day that your life changed?
Yes, it was the last week of September in 2010, and I had started experiencing fatigue-like symptoms as I was transitioning from one class to another. Around this time, I believe I was in the 10th grade, and so I thought I was just experiencing these feelings due to me not getting enough sleep the night prior. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So as time moved on, a few days later, I started experiencing pin-like, numbness in my hands and fingers, and also under the sole of my feet, to the point where I had trouble walking, moving. So my mom took me to our primary care physician, and he told us to go to the emergency room to get help because things were looking bad for me.
And since the incident in 2010, you stated you had to overcome numerous obstacles that resulted in you becoming not motivated. Share what that was like for you.
Well, some of the obstacles I had to overcome was relearning how to walk, relearning how to bathe myself, relearning how to cook, clean, and also navigate various social spaces, because once you become disabled, a lot of people, you lose a lot of friends, and also you have trouble making friends. So those are some of the issues that I had to face after, experiencing my inability to walk.
Okay. All right. And when your mom took you to the doctor, and then they referred you to go to the hospital to have some tests done, can you share what happened?
Yes. So after arriving at the hospital, they admitted me into the emergency room. Well, yeah, in an examination room at the emergency room, and they ran various tests like extensive blood tests, MRIs, also CAT scans, and they found like a tumor in my spine, but also they said it was a viral infection in the C3 through C5 section of my spine, which affects the motor functions such as picking up objects, being able to walk and balance yourself. And so after they found that, the neurosurgeon said that I may need surgery. So he looked into that, and after I had surgery, I woke up around October 15th, I believe, and found out that I couldn't walk. I couldn't move my limbs, which was confusing for my physical therapist and myself.
What is the name of your diagnosis?
Well, they call it a ganglioma tumor, and it's a rare case. I believe like maybe 1 in 100,000 people may, experience this in their lifetime.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 16 years old at the time.
And as a 16-year-old, once you had surgery and you found out that you were not able to move your limbs, how were you feeling mentally?
After waking up to this unusual situation, I was actually lost for words because obviously when you go through these things, you're trusting in the doctors, you're trusting in the nurses, because the things that I had encountered were out of my expertise. I didn't know anything about, science of this nature. But it was just more of confusion. I experienced confusion more than anything.
Yeah, I could imagine. And how did your diagnosis impact your family?
My family was confused, sad. They experienced a plethora of emotions, which is totally understandable after a loved one has encountered something of this degree. And a lot of times they were just, they were sad, but I kept pushing, and I wanted to make sure everybody was lively and joyful, even while I was enduring this situation.
So during the midst of you going through what you were going through, you still was worried about everybody else?
Yes, I was. Yes, my main focus was to, continue to encourage my mom, continue to encourage my aunts, my cousins, and, everyone else that was assisting me. And because at the end of the day, I knew I was gonna be okay. I just didn't know when and how, but I knew everything would work out in the end.
Okay. Let's talk about your recovery process. Share how that was.
Well, my recovery process, so after having going through the second surgery, so the first one was a biopsy, and the second was a complete removal of the tumor. And they sent me to Children's Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, where I was going through inpatient rehab for a month. And then after I graduated from there, they sent me to outpatient rehab, which is also called day rehab, where you go through extensive therapy processes, where you learn how to roll over, where you learn how to sit to stand, where you learn how to transfer from a chair to your walker, from the walker back to a chair safely, where you learn how to use the restroom on your own, and also most importantly, you're engaging with other people around your age, so you'll be able to be more social when you come back home, even if you have trouble relating to others.
Okay. At the point when you lost your ability to walk, you also lost your ability to take care of your own daily needs. In that moment, how were you feeling?
Well, I was angry, sad. I experienced just about every emotion that a human can experience, because when you go from being, independent, being an independent teenager to being dependent on your family members, that is frustrating, because everybody needs help, but you don't want to have help 24/7. You want to be able to do things on your own. I was unable to go to parties like I used to, or go to family functions without making sure it was handicap accessible for me. So there were a lot of changes that I had to become acclimated to.
Okay. And what led to your healing of those emotions?
Well, I was raised in the church, but I didn't experience like a strong relationship with God until after I went through this situation, because I feel like somebody can teach you about God, but until you experience a rough moment for yourself, you don't really understand what He can do for you. So that's when I started diving into the Word and understanding more about the gospel, and understanding, the miracles that took place in the Bible days, but also can be, humanity can experience them today.
Okay. So this situation got you closer to God, and you learned about your faith.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. You stated that you felt lost and confused. Being around your friends and family, do you think they noticed that, and what did they do to comfort you during that time?
Well, I know my mom noticed it because we're so close. So whenever I'm sad, she's sad. Whenever she's sad, I'm sad. Or we try to pull each other together, to make sure things are balanced and make sure that we can move forward. But I know they oftentimes they didn't have the words to, give me, to be able to encourage me, other than, keep saying, trust in God. God is going to pull you through, which are may sound cliche, but they are powerful, statements that ultimately allowed me to get to where I am today.
Okay. And I've also noticed that you said that you felt apprehensive when you got around society and your peers. What made you feel this way?
Well, a lot of times when you're disabled and you're walking around, maybe with a limp or in a wheelchair, and you're around people that don't look like you, it can be hard to just be around them because it feels like they're, kind of like maybe like tolerating you just to make you feel good instead of just being genuine. And those are some of the things that I have had to navigate and ultimately, work through as my healing came to pass. So it's just mostly just learning myself and being confident in spaces that may not always accept me.
Why do you think people hide their imperfections?
I think people hide their imperfection because it seemingly makes them feel better. Like if we continue to live in comfort, we feel like we'll be okay. We feel like we'll be fine. But, living in comfort never produces greatness. In order to reach greatness and strive toward better, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go and do things that don't always feel good.
What advice would you give to any individual who may be enduring an obstacle right now and they want to give up?
I would tell the individuals that are going through a hard time right now is to trust the process, use what God has given them, and also everything is going to be all right. If you continue to move forward, you can only get better. But if you remain stagnant, things will never change.
And why do you think people focus on what they don't have versus what they do have?
I think as people, we want more. But a lot of times the thing that we want isn't what God wants for us. So that's why I'm big on really trusting the process and just know that the situation that I'm experiencing at this moment, I need to use the things that I have instead of trying to reach out and acquire things that I might not need.
Share your experience of when you started to walk again. How did that go?
Well, the moment I started to walk again was, I believe I was on the walker this day, and I decided to start walking my grandmother's yard a few times up and down her front yard. And then once I, became strong in that area, I asked my friend, I said, well, let's start walking uptown. I believe I can do it. And so we started doing it without the walker. He would assist me, what's called contact guard assist in the spinal injury world, where he just stands beside me and makes sure that I don't fall. And I was able to do that effortlessly, and got to the point where I no longer needed a walker. I no longer used the gait belt, and I was just able to be free again, because there's nothing like being able to just hop in the car without worrying about getting in a wheelchair or making sure you have your walker. I'm able to just, move freely. And so that was a amazing feeling for me.
And how was it when you took that first step?
It was just a dream come true, to say, for a lack of a better word.
You remember that day? Were you home?
I vaguely remember, because I've experienced so many blessings throughout the years, but I just know that the feeling was amazing.
It was amazing. You are a very inspiring individual. One of the things that I love is your affirmations on Instagram. I go through them. I go through them and I listen. Not only do you do the affirmations, but you wrote a book. You graduated from college. Let's talk about your book.
Well, it's a funny story. Well, I didn't grow up planning to write a book. But I've always been fascinated with like movies, screenplays. But this one moment, I wrote a poem for my grandmother's 90th birthday party, and words were just, showing up in my mind as I was going to the restroom. And so I said, why are these words showing up in my mind? And the Holy Spirit wouldn't allow me to fall asleep. So I wrote, that was my first like official poem. And after that, I started writing random poems from that. And so my cousin encouraged me. He said, well, you should start, try to write a book. I said, I don't think that's for me. So I took it seriously, ended up writing one poem for like 30 nights straight. And now I have a book on Amazon called Rising Above It All, a poetry collection. And also, my second book is coming out later this year.
Second.
It's called. It's going to be called Better Days Are Ahead.
Second book. Where can they find your book?
You can find my book on Amazon, and also I promote it on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay. And how did it feel when you got that first book published?
It was a surreal feeling. It's one thing to create a project and and have it coming into play, but there's another mindset shift when you actually have what you created in your hand.
What motivates you?
What motivates me? I believe the challenges of life motivates me, and not knowing what tomorrow may hold, but knowing that there's something greater that's ahead of me, that keeps me going. That keeps me inspired, and know that I can become a better version of myself as long as I move in that direction.
Okay. Do you have any fears?
One fear that I have is not reaching my ultimate purpose. And so that keeps me going and trusting in God and leaning on Him where I can do everything He has called me to do.
Congratulations on graduating from college. What school did you go to?
I went to Georgia Military College. I graduated in 2019 with a minor in psychology and major in cybersecurity.
Share how your experience was being a college student.
Well, I was an online college student, which is drastically different from going to school in person. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of focus that you have to attend to. But overall, it created me, it helped me become a better individual and know that great things can happen when you actually set goals and, take heed to them.
You're a very inspiring person. Even with your obstacles, you did not give up, and you accomplished a lot of things. What goals do you have set for yourself? What's next?
The goals that I have next is to ultimately become a motivational speaker and write more books, and also children's books, and also just to advocate for people that don't have a strong voice or don't feel compelled to speak on their struggles, whether they're disabled or whether they're just going through a hard time financially, spiritually, or emotionally. I want to be able to bridge the gap and ultimately travel the world doing so.
Wow, I like that. You have a story. Definitely can inspire others. And just by looking at your timeline, you went from walking again to graduating from college to becoming an author. Look at your resume. To sharing your story on a podcast. And now you're talking about motivational speaking.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're still going.
Yes, ma'am.
You're still going. What advice do you have for everyone who has aspirations, but sometimes they let the obstacles get in their way?
I would say put one foot forward, because initially I had all these ideas and I tried to accomplish all of these things in one day, and that's how you experience burnout. So just I feel like in the investing world, if you think about it, well, it's compound interest. You do a little, you take little steps day by day, and eventually they become larger and greater. So you just have to do small things consistently, and eventually they'll turn into things that you could never anticipate.
What do you like to do for fun?
Well, for fun, I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy writing poetry, obviously. And also I enjoy, I guess, just looking up random stuff on YouTube, whether it's business or learning how to, learning about houses, real estate, architecture. I just try to expand my mind more and more each day. So when God blesses me to be in different spaces, I'll be able to bring that knowledge forth and be able to present it to others.
That's right. So you're still educating yourself, still growing. There's always room for growth. Always room for growth. You have to be open-minded, and like you say, even with being a motivational speaker, you never know what crowd you may have to speak to.
That's true.
And all of these things will come to purpose then. I'm a firm believer in everything that you experience and go through has a purpose. You may not know why in that moment, but when it comes to light, you'll see why. So everything that you are experiencing is giving you your story. It's writing your book. And when it's time to read your book, you'll know why.
Yes, ma'am.
You know why. Well, I'm very proud of you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very proud of you.
You.
And I'm happy that you allowed me to share this story.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's going to be an inspiration to so many people. Because a lot of times in life we get obstacles and we allow those obstacles to pause us. But you didn't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't do that. As a 16-year-old, you didn't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
So that speaks a lot for you. And I'm excited. I got to get my copy of the book, and I'm ready. I'm going to be ready for the second one.
Okay. Sure thing.
Let's talk about your mom. Such a beautiful soul, soft-spoken and sweet. How did she help you during this situation?
Well, thankfully, my mom is a nurse. She's a certified nursing assistant. So a lot of the things that I went through and experienced, she was able to assist me greatly. So that was a load, a burden off of both of us, because when it came to transferring properly, or even when I couldn't make it to the restroom, when I had trouble, bathing myself or cleaning myself, she was able to figure out quick solutions and do things quickly to be able to make sure that I was taken care of.
Would you like to say something special to your mom for the viewers, for the world to see?
I really appreciate you, Mom, for what you've done, and thank you so much for taking care of me, even though this wasn't an easy task, and a lot of times I wasn't probably the most easy to take care of, because it was a frustrating experience to go from walking to losing your ability to walk. But I love you, and looking forward to seeing what God has for both of us.
You got it, Mom. We love you. She's here. All right. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Well, I just really appreciate you having me and affording me the opportunity to be on your podcast. And also, I'm just looking forward to whatever God has for me next. And I'm moving in that direction.
Okay. You just have to be open doors for it. That's all. And your faith. Continue to have your faith. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Tyler. It's been a pleasure having you here with me. Such an inspiration, a go-getter, an individual who did not let an obstacle stop him from conquering his goals. Again, he learned how to walk again. He became an author, graduated from college, and looking into motivational speaking. Let's not forget his Instagram affirmations. Please share with our viewers how they can find you.
You can find me on TikTok. My handle is miracle.poems, POEMS. And also you can find me on Instagram. I go by Tyler Taylor Poetry. And also I have a Facebook page, and my name is Tyler Taylor. And I use all three of those platforms to post my content. So come and see how you can be inspired by what I post.
You will be inspired. Let's give him some support and let's follow him. If you would like to be a guest on Talk for 30, contact me and let's talk for 30. Peace.
Let's talk for 30. Where you at on your journey? Tell me what you learning. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Do you give back to your city or educate the ones that listen? Time to show them how to get it. Give the people what they missing. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. Let's talk for 30. What's your line of business? How you make your earnings? Let's talk for 30.